Hello, everybody, and welcome into an emergency episode edition of today's installment of Around the Slice. I say emergency because we have some huge breaking news that has come out of Buffalo in the last hour or so, and that is the Buffalo Bills have signed wide receiver Khalil Shakir to a huge, lucrative, big money extension. I'm going to get into the details, how this relates to the wide receiver market, today's wide receiver climate, are there contracts around there, how this impacts free agency, draft. Basically, no notes episode today. I just instant reaction pod, basically just my free flowing thoughts off the top of my dome, if you will, off the top of my brain. So let's just get into it. So the Buffalo Bills have signed wide receiver Khalil Shakir to a 4-year, $60.2 million extension. And that extension technically doesn't kick in until 2 years from now, 2026, because he was on a 4-year rookie contract, which he's heading into the last year of. The rookie contract was 2022, 2023, 24, and 25. So from 2026 to 29, he is locked up on this new extension. What does 4 years, 60.2 mean? It means he has a new APY of mainly starting in 2026 of $15.05 million per season APY, AAV, whatever term you use, same thing basically. This is awesome. In my opinion, I literally sent this to the many multitude of group chats. Excuse me, let me start over. I sent this to the many multitude of Bills group chats I'm in. I've said an AAV APY of $15.05 million a year in today's booming wide receiver market is an absolute steal. Now, I know people say Khalil Shakir isn't a wide receiver one. I totally agree with that. I understand that he's not a wide receiver one, especially considering that your stud wide receiver one doesn't usually work out of the slot. But in my opinion, I am aware that Khalil Shakir has inside-out versatility. He can line up at Z, F, Y, X, slot. He can do all the alignments in the field, but his best work, in my opinion, is easily out of the slot. And that's where he's really been the Bills' top option for the past year and a half or so. Even when Diggs was on this team the second half of the year, of 2023, he outpaced Diggs in every meaningful production metric and market value, recent and contract that matters. So, in my opinion, this is a phenomenal steal. For reference, for the last month or so, coming into this offseason, this entire offseason since the season ended, unfortunately, once again early, but we're way past that now. Spotcheck had a new salary projection of $19.25 million a year of any sort of extension for Khalil Shakir. So this is like $4.5 million cheaper than I thought. Again, 4 years, $60.2 million, $15.05 million per year. And now, just for reference, this is awesome. Like, I'm aware, Khalil Shakir, this comes in at like, I don't want to even say middle class market value anymore, because these middle class, quote unquote, wide receivers are getting 18 to 21, 22, 18 to 22 million a year for quote unquote middle class, middle tier wide receivers. I mean, perfect example, a guy like Jerry Jeudy, who I know I might get some flack and heat for this, but that's fine. I'm here for it. Jerry Jeudy, a guy I personally don't think overly very highly of, if I'm being honest with you guys. He makes $19 million per year. I know Jerry Jeudy lines up on the outside, and I know Khalil Shakir does most of his dirty work and huge production, if you will, from the slot. But, I mean, that's a $4 million difference. And really, like, if I were a building block for the next 2, 3, 4+ years, I'd easily take Khalil Shakir. And that's just not over biased, because I was so high on Jerry Jeudy coming out of Alabama in the 2020 draft. However you wanted to order wide receiver position rankings, if you will. CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy, a 1A, 1B situation. CeeDee Lamb out of Oklahoma and Jerry Jeudy out of Alabama, respectively. And I know everyone's going to say, Jerry Jeudy, what quarterback has he had? He's had Jameis Winston, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. Okay, but at what point are we going to stop making excuses for this Jeudy guy? I know we're getting off topic here, but I just wanted to compare. Jeudy, $19 million a year. I personally don't think very highly of him. And Khalil Shakir, $15.05 million a year. That's just what I'm thinking now. I think I'll grade it at the end. One last major point I want to make on this entire situation Not before we get out of here, but quickly, one last huge point I want to make in this entire situation. This does not preclude, yes, Khalil Shakir is obviously under contract, but he's a main slot, dirty work slot receiver. This does not preclude the Bills from going out and making a big splash in free agency of the draft for a true X receiver that can separate and get open downfield with ease. I'm not advocating for a guy like Darius Slayton, but I threw some names out there like Josh Palmer, Noah Brown. You can go back to my offensive free agency targets video I did a week or so ago and see like, hey, listen, this is where I'm looking. This is the targets I'm looking at. I'm looking for a low-cost veteran and or hopefully a very early draft investment for like a Luther Burden or a Matthew Golden and Alekeo Maynor in the late second, early third round. I think Golden would just be a home run hit. But when we get to mock draft season and all that, it is only the last few days of February, last week, give or take, of February. Whoops. One of my earbuds fell. I was excited over Shakir. The last week of February, give or take, around there. So yeah, I love this. But again, this does not. I'm still looking for that very specific skill set of a true big-bodied X receiver who can get open downfield with ease and separate with ease and route running ability. Yes, in theory, Keon Coleman is a big-bodied route running receiver, but he can't separate. He can't run routes well. He's supposed to be the contested catch savant, if you will, and he struggles in a lot of those instances. Like on paper, it should be good, but on game tape, watching it on eyeballs, it's not. So to round out this conversation, this is what I would love to see the wide receiver room look like for next season in 2025. Resign Mack Hollins. So in no specific order, I'm just throwing out some names. I would love to see it be. Let's just say they sign Josh Palmer as the veteran because that's like my most veteran cheap option at this point for true X receiver. Darius Slayton will get overpaid in my opinion. For like, it's just the truth in my eyes, in my opinion, of course. Personally, so where was my head at? Khalil Shakir, Mack Hollins. Let's see, Khalil Shakir, Mack Hollins, Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel, a very early draft investment, and Josh Palmer, for instance. So that's a really good 6 receiver room that you feel really good about. You have your star in the making in Khalil Shakir. You have a developmental young player and hopefully a rookie in Keon Coleman. Then you have a bounce back candidate in Curtis Samuel, and then you have a low cost, cheap veterans in Mack Hollins and especially Josh Palmer. Anyways, guys, well, let me get to this first. There are 4 more extension candidates we have to keep a very close eye in the next couple months or so, all the way up to training camp for the season. First and foremost, top 4, mine's James Cook. I actually did a whole episode here on Around the Slice, a whole podcast episode for you guys, breaking down James Cook's market value, what he wants, what would Aiden Weingartner do what would I do if he was the GM, if I was the GM of the Buffalo Bills, what are the pros to lucrative extension, what are the cons, all his little stupid social media BS nonsense and crap. I'm kind of getting sick of him. He's becoming very obnoxious. Anyway, James Cook, Terrell Bernard, Christian Benford, Greg Rousseau. Christian Benford cut and dry, lock him up. Huge extension. Greg Rousseau, Terrell Bernard, pretty cut and dry. Greg Rousseau and James Cook, difficult conversation in my opinion. Greg Rousseau is one that I'm fearful will get overpaid. I think I've talked about this before, but full reveal here, I'm fearful they get overpaid. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to jump on the mic quick today, if you will, in the camera here, if you will, today, and kind of give you guys my overarching thoughts, what's on the top of my brain, burning up my mind, and burning on my mind, top of the mind, if you will. I know this was kind of unorganized and all over the place, but hey, that's what these authentic reaction podcasts will be. Within an hour or so of the breaking news, more so an hour or so, I want to get it to you guys out fast. So I kind of want to collect my thoughts in one instant reaction pod. Hopefully the free agency coming up in the next few weeks. Like we're going to have, this is the first of many instant reaction pods, hopefully. So yeah, I can't wait to talk about all that. Yeah, you can, of course, follow me personally on Twitter, hey, Weingartner13. You can, of course, follow the show on Twitter at Around Slice. You can, of course, watch or listen to this podcast on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And yeah, please help me get to 50 subscribers. I'm in the big 5-0 through the free agency draft process, all the way up to training camp in the 2025 season. But that's a ways away. we're just one step at a time, one goal at a time. Anyways, guys, thank you for supporting today. I love that they locked up Khalil Shakir. Huge 4.5 value, in my opinion, in terms of APY. Khalil Shakir's, Josh Allen's most trusted weapon. So, anyways, I will see you guys next time. This is the first of many, hopefully, reaction pods for the next 2 weeks with free agency. Thank you for the support as always. Let me know down in the comments below, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on audio, coming over to YouTube, whatever and whatnot. Let me know down in the comments. What are your opinions on Khalil Shakir? I'm gonna give this an A+. I love Khalil Shakir. I love Brandon Beane. When those two mesh together to have a huge value contract, way under market value, in my opinion, then it's right in the ballpark of what I love. A+ for all the points I talked about in today's instant reaction pod to this. Once again, thank you for the support as always. I will see you this Friday, February 28th. Continuing my little Bills offseason preview rivals mini series. We did the Chiefs a few days ago, literally yesterday, and then in a few days on Friday we're going to do the Dolphins, then Patriots, then Jets. Take us up to free agency. Awesome conversations. Thank you. Have a great day. I will see you in a few days on Friday for that one. Bye.